Hey, I'm Chris with How to Politics, and we are all finding out in real time just how bad Democrats are at politics. It was announced this morning that enough Democrats in the Senate are going to vote to end the shutdown. The deal that they have funds the USDA, the VA, military projects. It agrees to rehire people that they laid off and give them back pay, which already was the law. In exchange, Democrats are going to get a vote on the floor of the Senate. One vote on the floor in December about Obamacare subsidies. This is wild. This is naive and delusional beyond compare. A vote in the Senate has no impact on the House. A vote in the Senate does nothing for Obamacare subsidies. Speaker Mike Johnson has said he's not going to bring it up for a vote in the House. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of Democrats' leverage, was the filibuster in the Senate. Giving that up in exchange for a pinky promise means that weeks of pain, of missed paychecks, of SNAP benefits, of canceled flights, weeks of pain that we have endured, that Democrats have inflicted, and we get nothing for it. Nothing for it. The best logic that they've got, for example, comes from Angus King. He says that there was no chance that Republicans were going to come to the table on ACA, and so we're much closer now than we were before, which is fucking naive. Unbelievably naive. The bill has to pass both the House and the Senate in order to be extended. Voting in the Senate gives you nothing. You've exchanged your leverage for nothing. The other problem that I have with this is Democrats are now playing the same thing that Republicans do, where they think all of their voters are fucking stupid. They all think that we're dumb enough to swallow this as a good deal. They say things like, now that Democrats secured these wins, let's work together. Or if Republicans don't come to the table, then they own the premium increases. Like, that's not how this works. Democrats publicly, openly fought. The fight ending means everyone who's not paying rapt attention thinks the fight is over. You think next year voters who weren't reading every single article about this are going to go into the ballot box and think, well, yeah, there was that time when the Democrats secured the promise of a floor vote in the Senate. That's not going to keep premiums are still going to skyrocket. It's like people who are watching this are going to say things like, oh, I thought Democrats were fighting this, so they must not be very good at it. Maybe I shouldn't vote for a Democrat in the next election because they can't fucking do anything. Democrats have spent years now trying to prove that they can deliver substantive wins for people, for working Americans, and have voters reward them for it. Have voters recognize that it was Biden's bill that produced all of these things that Republicans are taking credit for example. Democrats have spent years having this fight about whether substantive deliveries will actually result in electoral wins. And what we get when Democrats actually have leverage in the government to actually do things, this is what we get. An action like this erodes trust with the base, and it erodes trust with people who aren't paying rapt attention because they see this as just a capitulation, as something that Democrats held out for weeks and then exchanged for nothing because subsidies are still going up. That's not going to change. That's not going to suddenly make Republicans want to take up a bill they said they won't take up, a bill that's anathema to their caucus. The only upside of this is people getting paychecks, workers going to work and getting paid for it, air traffic controllers, food safety inspectors. That's it. But the Trump administration is still fighting having to pay SNAP benefits. They're still fighting not to give working people money for food. This, like everything else, is just about the rest of us watching, disgusted, as the Trump show plays out. It's just another day in Trump's America. If you watched this deep into the video, thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to hear them. I hope you'd consider subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching. I'm Chris with How to Politics.